Fort Ord Dunes is a state park located alongside the coast of Monterey County. It has 1,000 acres and 4 miles of beach within it. It allows one to view the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary, which is a protected area of ocean and its life. It is a coastal dune and scrub biome and characterized by its sandy soils, dune formations, and vegetation like coastal sage scrub, dune grasses, and maritime chaparral. It has a coastal dune ecosystem with its mild, wet winters and dry summers. When I had gotten to the park, I noticed that there was like a lot of fencing around the trail, which kind of sucked because it kind of limited my area of access that I could go through. But going through the trail, it was nice. It was open a bit at least, and it didn't seem like most of it was actually touched besides like a building I had seen when I was walking up. For most of the producers, I wasn't really able to find many, at least, that I could definitely name, but I did some research on it. Obviously, the sun is the most prominent one because it acts as like natural energy and it allows for plant growth and whatnot. And then I found beach grasses, which help stabilize dune and prevent erosion. Coastal sage scrub plants, which provides shelter and food for wildlife, and then the dune lupine, which supports soil health and provides nectar for pollinators. I also found online the seaside buckwheat, which is important for pollinators, and the salt tolerance succulents, which help retain moisture in the sandy environment, such as the sea fig. And then for consumers as well, the only one I was actually able to find was the California ground squirrels. Like I had managed to get one on video. But other than that, I didn't really see any. I heard some birds, but I'd never seen them. But doing some research on the area, it's known for like its brush rabbits, which eat the grasses and the shrubs. The California ground squirrel, which I talked about, which eats seeds, leaves, and flowers. The mule deer, which eats shrubs and grasses. And then butterflies and caterpillars that feed on nectar and plant leaves. And then for the omnivores, it was the skipped skunks, which feed on insects, small mammals like rabbits, and berries. The western fence lizard, which feeds on insects and spiders. Coyotes, which feed on small animals, insects, and fruit. And ravens, which feed on small animals, dead or alive, and fruit. And then as for the predators, obviously I didn't see any, but there's the red-tailed hawks, which feed on small rodents and birds. There's bobcats, which feed on rabbits, squirrels, and birds. There's the great horned owl, which feed on rodents, birds, and reptiles. And then there's spiders as well that feed on insects. Obviously, there's a lot more animals out there than just the ones I listed, but also didn't want this video to go over like 30 minutes on me just talking about them all. There's too many to list, but these are at least from my research, the most prominent ones in the area. For predation, obviously it's the predators, and they take part in hunting to survive. That's what they need to live. So it's like bobcats hunting the rabbits, the red-tailed hawks hunting the rodents, etc. And then for the symbiotic relationships, I found that mutualism occurs between the butterflies and the plants. The butterflies pollinate the plants, and so on. And then for coyotes, they leave scraps for the ravens to feed on. Commensalism, it takes place when the ground squirrels they burrow into the ground to loosen the soil for the plants. So the plants only benefit from it because they allow for them to grow quicker, while the squirrels don't. And then for the birds, to take shelter in the scrubs by nesting. Obviously, it doesn't affect the plants for the most part, and it gives the birds a benefit. And then for spiders, they build webs on plants, which doesn't affect the plants at all, but it helps benefit the spiders. For the parrotism, I didn't see any, but from my research, I found that it would be like the botflies on the rodents in the area, the mistletoes on the shrubs, and the ticks on the animals. They all engage in parrotism. The decomposers in the area, I didn't necessarily see any, but from my research again, it was fungi like the mushroom and the molds, which I'm assuming the mold most definitely grows along like the rocky area of the beach, and then the bacteria like the actinobacteria, which is important for breaking down tough plant matter. Okay. As for the human impact, the one most prominent I seen at least was the fencing. It was all over the entire trail that I went along, which kind of sucked because it did limit my like access to allow me to like look and explore. But the positives that come with that is probably it leaves wildlife untampered by human life. Like usually people would probably walk through those and damage their nests or like the ecosystem for the environment, the animals. But The negatives that I see from the fence is obviously a limit in my range to be able to explore, which could be a good thing for the animals at least. But I felt like it also could possibly damage the environment because it limited some animals probably to a specific region, like not allowing them to travel by land, and then they have to go through another route to be able to travel the distance that they need to. So it'd probably take them longer to travel. One thing that I found interesting that I hadn't seen online or anything about was the park when I went in person was really overwhelmed with this invasive species that goes by the name of ice plants or Corporalis. They were very prominent at this park. They were like all towards the coastal area of the park. Like as soon as I started walking in, I could see most of them. Usually coming up after I did my research because I was like, why are there so many of this? But yeah, it acts as a weed and it's an invasive species in this area or really any coastal area, and it just doesn't allow for any other plants to grow. So I thought that was interesting to know about, at least. And as for my questions on this park, is that why was most of the park blocked off? That's one of my most prominent ones. Like, why did they limit us to only a specific area we could look at along that trail I went on? And then, why were a lot of its plants and animals tampered with? Is that why it seemed bare and dry whenever I went through the park? Like, it didn't seem like it had much life to it, or is that just because of the ecosystem itself? And then, why didn't I really see any animals or bugs or like birds throughout my entire trip? Because I didn't really see any. The only one I seen was a squirrel, and that was about it. And I wish I could have seen more. I'm surprised I didn't see any birds or anything along the coast too. So that took me as a shocker. Okay. Thank you for watching my video, and I've listed the sources I've used during my research. Thank you again, and you have a great day.